Dun 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 dun. Hey everyone, it is Shannon, and I'm here to share all about my do-it-yourself Shark Week. Last week, as many people probably know, was Shark Week on this Discovery Channel, and I don't get the Discovery Channel right now because I don't have cable. And I think it's mostly documentary stuff, although they did show Sharknado. But I thought, hey, I like shark movies, and there's some shark movies I haven't seen, so why don't I do my own? Why don't I do my own do-it-yourself Shark Week? So I did. So I thought I would share the films that I saw and what I thought about them. And I saw some new ones as well as some ones that I have the tried, tested, and true shark movies, and so it was a bit of this, a bit of that. But it started with, the first one I watched was The Reef. Now this is an Australian film. I watched it on Netflix. It's on Canadian Netflix, and it's probably on American Netflix. I don't know. Wow, really good movie. I had heard good things about it, and so that's good, it's always a good place to start, but I didn't know what kind of movie it was, and it was it was actually a really good movie. Like, it actually had really great writing, and really good acting, and a lot of drama, and really good pacing and all that stuff. So it wasn't just a horror movie, it was actually a good movie, which is always really great when it comes. It's one of the two really great kinds of shark movies, in my opinion, is the drama ones, like The Reef. And for me, the other thing that made this even all the more scary was it's actually based on a true story. So that's creepy. So, and some of the actors in it were really good. The main two actors were really good. And the guy is Damon Walsh Howling. Wow, fantastic actor. I haven't seen him in anything else, and he was amazing in this. So that was The Reef. Highly recommended. I liked it so much I watched it again the next day. And it's a shark movie. Crazy. It was tense. Like, I was really freaking out, and that's actually one of the things that was nice about not knowing anything about it, not having seen any of the trailers. It was like, you just do not know what's going to happen. Like, you just don't know. You just have that ominousness of knowing that it's based on a true story, which usually means, you can figure out what that usually means, but you don't know more than that. So for me, it was a great way to start. And given that it was Shark Week, I decided to watch Shark Week. And this is, oh my. Okay, so this is from The Asylum. It's a B movie. I thought it actually started off pretty well. It was pretty funny. It felt very, like, I don't know, sometimes these movies just, like, I like B movies, just disclaimer, or, acknowledgement that I like B movies. I love, I love the low budget feel of them. It's like, just creative editing, and you don't really know what's going on, and tell the story visually, and, like, that kind of stuff. Don't have everyone talk, so it's sometimes a B movie thing. Because sometimes physical acting can play a lot better than, if you have to talk. But that only went so far. Like, I thought the setup of this movie was pretty good and interesting, and I think I feel like it must have come out around the same time as Shark Night, because it has a similar-ish premise, but I don't think it did. It came out like the next year, because Shark Night was from 2 years ago. It was actually a quite good shark movie. I liked it. I know some people who didn't like it, but I liked it. But Shark Week, it didn't quite work for me, and mostly because some of the acting was so bad, it was distracting. Like, it just was like, whoa, like, just like, whoa. So that was a bit of a challenge. Some of the people were fine, some of the people were okay, but some people were really not good. And then it does one thing that I really don't like in B movies that's a current trend, which is that it has a pretty big name actor, in this case Patrick Bergin, who I always know from Robin Hood, the other Robin Hood. The Kevin Costner one came out, and I'm like, no, I like the other one. I don't like the Kevin Costner ones. I'm like, I like the other one. So Patrick Bergin's in it, but he's mostly, it feels like the scenes that he did, he probably came in for a day or two or whatever, a week, whatever, and did his scenes, and that was it. They're not very around the other actors, and I just don't like that. I'd rather have some interaction or have it be a cameo or something like that. You know, he's in the movie a lot, but he's not interacting with a lot of people. So that's just a bit of a quirky, weird thing that I have about, you know, the current B-movie trend, so I might be taking that a little farther and be a little more annoyed with that than other people, but in general, it just, you know, it wasn't great. I didn't really understand what the premise was, and then I felt like I understood it, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, and then I didn't really understand it again, and then it was just kind of silly. There were some good moments, and there was some good acting and some interesting character drama, there was, but the bad acting sort of overshadowed it for me. So Shark Week, not so great. Sorry. And then I continued my third pick with Bait. Now I actually watched Bait. I had a screener for it from Anchor Bay. Thank you, Anchor Bay, from back when I was just reviewing for my other site and went from the land of reviewing to not reviewing. So it was sort of one of the carryovers. And but Screener's not very interesting to look at. So I made a little card for Bait. And this is another Australian movie, and they've been knocking these out of the park, because out of so far, Bait and The Reef, the two Australian films, and Bait is actually Australian and Singapore co-production. But wow, it was a lot of fun, and it actually walked a really good line between drama and over-the-top shark movie. It really found that it wasn't even a balance. I want to say it found the balance between, no, it didn't. When it was dramatic, and when it was over-the-top, it was over-the-top. Like, there were some things that were hilarious and funny and you didn't believe, and just crazy. And some of the premise really is pretty crazy, but it's also very dramatic and it's pretty scary. So I really appreciated that it really went for it in those two cases. And the acting in this one was good. Xavier Samuel is sort of the lead. I would think, even though the main name guy is someone else, and I couldn't figure out who it was. It must be a big Australian actor. But I feel like I would know. I don't know. Anyway, I knew Xavier Samuel. He was in Eclipse. He was also in Newcastle, and he's a good actor. And also the girl who plays Haley on Vampire Diaries and Phoebe on The Secret Circle, she was in this as well. I did not know she was Australian until recently, actually. But really good. Enjoyed it. It was fun as well as scary, and really bridged those two flavors of shark movies together. Now, my next one was a bit of a wild card. I didn't know anything about it going in, and I didn't even know if it was a shark movie, but it was like ominous and horror and on a lake. So I thought, well, there's a chance, right? So why don't you get a chance? And so I took a chance on Hypothermia. This is also on Netflix, and this one hard to say. It's really, I don't know. There's a fair amount of films I see that are sort of in this category. They're tend to be sort of like independent horror. Sometimes you see them at festival or direct to DVD kind of stuff, where it's the drama. Actually, the drama and the story in this one were pretty good. The main actor in this one is Michael Rooker, who I am a fan of, and I have been a fan of since The Replacement Killers, although I'm sure most people know him as Daryl's brother on The Walking Dead. But he was actually really good in this, and it was really nice to see a change of pace for him, as he plays a dad, there's a dad, a mom, and a son, and his girlfriend, and he plays the dad, and so it's like more of a dramatic role, and he's sort of the, person who is sort of looked to make sure things go okay. And there was some really interesting character stuff in this one, like what happens when you're in a tumultuous situation with people you don't know that well. That kind of question, that played out really, it's a really great tension building question. But again, one of the challenges of this one is some of the acting was really not good, like distractingly not good. And it's more of a creature feature, and to be honest, the creatureness didn't work for me. But I am not a fan of the style in which they went for with that, and it had me a little, like, I couldn't take it seriously. I don't know if you're supposed to, and I like creature movies, so I don't know. But, and then on the other side of things, it was crazy, because it was so gory, so I'm like, I don't understand. On one hand, this feels like this, like, you know, family drama character study, and then there's just, like, blood, like, everywhere, just, like, everywhere, and I'm just, like, I don't really get it. So this kind of movie, like, if you've seen it and you like Hypothermia, I'd be curious, what's the poll and what other films do you like and stuff like that, because I see a fair amount, not as many anymore, but when I was reviewing, whoops, I definitely saw a fair amount of films that are sort of in that vein, and I'm not quite sure how I feel about it, because mostly, like, it feels like drama is the driving force here, but then it's clearly a horror movie, so what's going on? One thing I will say for Hypothermia, though, it was gorgeous. It was absolutely gorgeous. A lot of it is, like, set on a frozen lake at night, and it is beautiful. It is really beautiful. No. Oh, I left paper out. Hang on, sorry. No. Creature. Come on. Come on, buddy. Okay. So, if we can keep on going. So those were the new to me films. So I was very excited to see all of them, even though I didn't like all of them, but that's okay. That's okay, it's allowed. And then I decided I'm going to do some tried and true shark movies. And I started with Deep Blue Sea. And yes, it's on VHS. Deep Blue Sea. I love this movie. I used to watch this movie to fall asleep to all the time, which is, like, totally messed up. I love this movie. It is so much fun. It is so over the top. It is so ridiculous. There are so many memorable lines, like the whole, who are you going to trust? That line sticks in my head all the time. I think of it so often. It's kind of funny. Like, it's just, you know, and I remember seeing it in the theater and being so, like, kind of like, that movie was crazy, and it really balances, kind of like I was saying with Bait, it really balances the fun factor and over-the-top factor with the horror factor. So, yeah, and even the character and stuff, all the acting is good, everything, like, it's just, and it's well done, and the effects are good, and honestly, it's one of those crazy movies. I don't know anyone who doesn't like this movie, to be honest. I don't know. Even though it's ridiculous from idea to everything else. I love it. I absolutely love it. And one of the things that it does a really good job of, which I think is important in a shark movie, or any kind of creature movie, is it really can take you from safe to scared very quickly. And I don't know how they continue to make you feel safe after you feel scared. But they do. So, Deep Blue Sea, always a thumbs up. One day I'll have to upgrade. And then last, but certainly not least, I did pick door number 3, for those that are following Shannon versus the Stuff, and watch Jaws. And yes, it is on VHS. It's a 2-disc, 25th anniversary collection. 25th? Oh, it just says anniversary. I don't know why anniversary. Anyway, thankfully the film was all on one tape, because it's not one you want to change tape. This movie is so iconic and so the definition of a classic, you know, in terms of the fact that the writing's good, the acting's good, the editing's good, the sound is good, just every film element is not even good, outstanding. Every single filmic element in this film is outstanding. If you show one frame of this film at any point, you know what time period this is, the sense of the film, like, it's recognizable, and it's, you know, the one that started it all in terms of shark movies. Now, I just love it, and I actually hadn't seen it for quite a long time, and so it was really exciting to see it, and just for every, like, and I knew it so well, like, line for line a lot of the time, and, you know, speech for speech. I just really knew it, and it's, again, it's a dramatic film, and I think sometimes, although I love monster movies, sometimes they don't use the drama element as much, so I don't know. So I was really happy to add some new great shark films to the roster with Bait, awesome, and The Reef. Oh my gosh, if you haven't seen it, watch The Reef. So good. Such a good movie. So that was my Shark Week. How was yours? Did you watch any shark movies? Do you know any good new shark movies? I'd love to hear about it. Thanks so much for watching.